what would you say is the most challenging thing? And Dr. Kulevich has kind of hit on this a little bit. Some of the most challenging things that new teachers face today and may face in the near future.
Well, I can tell you some of the problems that you're going to have is, in an urban school community especially, is lack of parent and family involvement. I had 120 kids last year, and on parent-teacher conference night, I had 11 parents come in. And so, I mean, that's a huge missing link. And so you're constantly trying to get parents involved, and parents that don't speak the language, and parents that work all kinds of hours. So it becomes incumbent upon the educator and the administrators to figure out a way on how you can involve parents in their child's education, because it's really, really important. So I think that that is a huge problem. And of course, high stakes testing is going to continue to be a challenge for everybody, I think. I'd like to see more money funded to urban schools to help level the playing field. One of my Common Core standards has to do with media and technology. But you could sooner get, tickets to the, I don't even want to say Red Sox anymore because they're not good this year, but to the Celtics than you could to get a computer in our library. And our students don't have computers at home, and so you have to teach them 21st century learning skills, but you don't have any resources. So I think you're up against that all the time, and I think that works. I have a friend that lives in Wakefield, which is a wealthy community, but as a result, they get even, at least we get some state funding in Revere, we get some federal funding, but Wakefield gets nothing. So they are really, trying all the time to try and help get technology and smart boards in the classroom and things, so that's a huge challenge. And I could go on, but I will let.
I think another thing that's extremely challenging for teachers is trying to keep youngsters motivated from period to period. I think that's extremely challenging for the simple reason that students today get an awful lot of instant gratification, whether it's TV, whether it's video, whether it's the computer, you name it. It's an entertainment world out there for them. And especially as they get older, middle school, high school, they're sitting back waiting for you to entertain them as a teacher in the classroom. That's why it's extremely important, especially in many high schools, they have a block schedule, which will be a period that will run anywhere from an hour to 80, 85 minutes. But the teacher can't spend all that time lecturing to the students, because they're going to turn you off after a while. So planning becomes extremely important, whether you do it yourself or you work with grade level teams or within teachers within your department to come up with a variety of different activities during that particular block so that students, don't get bored, that type of thing. So that's a big, big challenge for teachers today. Not to lecture to them, let's say, for 35 minutes to give them the remainder of the period to start their homework, which they'd love you to do, but that's not the purpose of the education.
I grew up a parent as well, but the issue with parents and parent involvement, I think it's been out there for 50 years, pretty long, 25 years ago. I had parents asking me questions about, what would you do? I was 22 years old, how would you raise your income? My son won't do his homework, what should I do? I'm like, I'm 22 years old, give me a break. So I'm falling back into lessons. My parents are absolutely, you should turn off the TV. And more and more, though, I find that no matter where you are, like what school system you have parents who are pulling back or disengaged. Either they're working so hard and they're doing their jobs, or there's split families. It's the norm. It's the norm. And so the teacher is becoming a very important role model in the life of a young person. And something I feel like something quite deeply is teaching is an art. It's not a science. It's an art. Some of you have it, and some of you don't. And you'll know immediately if you have it. And those around you who have been, they know, yes, this person is going to be good. It's going to work out fine. And a lot of that is how grounded are you as a person, and how well you can instill some of that groundedness in the students you have. Because more and more, like just parenthetically, we're finding overwhelming issues of mental illness, for instance. I don't know if it's going alongside the economy or whatever, but things like this are happening all the time. And not just among the students, but among the family members, things like that. Yeah, more like as an administrator, I'm dealing a lot. I feel in many ways in the guidance house. You're dealing with broken families and broken situations, and that's part of our role.
Can I just pick up on what Jim said? I think you as potentially future teachers are going to see more and more involvement with social issues in the school. All you have to do is to take a look at Columbine High School and look what that's done to school systems in terms of safety and security. Doors now being locked, cameras in the corners, that type of thing. Cyberbullying. Those particular issues are now up there, and they're commonplace in a lot of school systems today. So I think that as institutions break down, and I'm talking about family, the church, and the school tends to be the institution that's the most solid and becomes the vehicle in which state departments of education, government, want captivative audiences, which are teachers and students, where you can provide them the assistance of the social needs that unfortunately they can't get anywhere else, and they're not even aware that they even exist. And I'm talking about not only the students, but in some instances the one-parent family or the guardian, you name it. So I see that as an issue that's going to become even more important, I think, in the future for the classroom teacher and school administrator. You'll be teaching a social curriculum in addition to your academic curriculum.
One of the things I do in my classroom management classes, I bring in a social worker to come and talk to the prospective teachers, and she actually hits on all these things that you both talked about. What should a teacher handle and try to handle, and what kind of issues do you face, and there is this whole other side that I think that teachers really need to be aware of, and that's one of the reasons why I bring her in every year. So because sometimes it's a tendency for a new teacher, you try to take it all on yourself, and you can't. You would burn out in a year. So you have to know where the support systems are for you in the school and for the students, guidance counselors, social workers, and people like that can help you facilitate learning in your classroom.